Forced adversity.
All right, so we're gonna move on with some Star Wars takes. What do you think?
Let's do it. What's going on with Star Wars?
Well, I'm glad
People
you
not
asked.
digging the Fett. People not digging the Fett.
Yeah. Well, especially this guy. I'm really frustrated with the Book of Boba Fett's lack of violence. And this is a broader issue with Disney Plus. There are no R-rated movies on the service, and there never will be. Ideally, a Boba Fett TV show would be more like The Punisher.
Yeah, what? What? He's a bounty hunter.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Boba Fett is very mild PG-13 level violence. Disney is forgetting that adults want... No, they're not.
Logan and
Like,
Deadpool. Logan and Deadpool. It all comes back to that. That's going to be the argument after. Well,
You know,
Logan.
what I'm wondering is I wonder if I went and checked this guy's Twitter feed, if he's ever complained that Star Wars is not like it used to be, or that they've changed too much from what Star Wars should be about. Because if so, this is exactly that. This would be bastardizing Star Wars, because Star Wars is not... I mean, yes, you grew up, Drew Savicki. You were a child and you liked Star Wars, and then you grew up and Star Wars didn't age up with you.
Yeah.
Because kids still like Star Wars, and that's the target demographic. And that's another thing. A lot of these people, as far as Marvel and stuff like that, they just refuse to accept that these things aren't aimed just at adults. And if they were, they wouldn't get the budgets that they do. They wouldn't get the wide releases they do. Deadpool is an anomaly. Logan was an anomaly in the sense that, that if for one thing, with Deadpool and Logan, it serves the source material. Those are violent characters. Like, nothing about Boba Fett that we ever saw in the original trilogy or anything indicates that he would go around just like shooting holes in people's heads and, or I don't know, ripping their limbs off or whatever. So
roasting Jawas.
Yeah, just roasting Jawas for sure.
Yeah, it's what ends up happening is that they're sort of making up, because like there's such a huge gap between the Star Wars, like the new movies and the older movies, that like these people grew up with like almost like making up their own stories. I assume everyone did that, of like, oh, what would be a cool Boba Fett adventure? And as they grow older, they want to see more rated R content. And it's like, so I'm sorry, Disney couldn't match up to your whatever you had in your own head. Like they refuse to see it any other way, to change perspectives, as you always put it. Like it's got to be 100% how they saw it,
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars is not Deadpool. It's not gratuitous violence, and it really never should be. I like I like gratuitous violence. I'll just say that, but I like it when it's something that it fits. When it fits,
in movies,
right?
Though. In movies.
Well, I mean, even TV show, Peacemaker has
TV,
some fucking gratuitous, and it's great because it fits the tone. It works for the character. Whereas Star Wars has never been about that, with a little bit of wiggle room for the first film, because George Lucas, he did totally show Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru just roasted to a crisp. Yeah. That's pretty brutal.
There are intense moments, throughout the series. Sure.
But
even it's just not like,
even in the second one, I think pretty quickly after the first one, they realized that kids love this stuff. And even just with Empire Strikes Back, it got less intense. I mean, clearly the movie is fucking fantastic, and some of the emotional moments are very intense. But as far as the violence, they tone it down. You didn't see, in the first movie, when that dude gets his arm cut off for the lightsaber, there's blood coming out of it and stuff like that. After that, it's like now the wound is cauterized, which actually makes more sense for a lightsaber, I think.
Sure. To me, the most brutal scene was that Ewok death with the Ewok crying. I thought that was like, damn, that was really emotional.
That was harsh. Yeah,
that was hard. That was a harsh one. It was like coming out of left field.
Yeah, I mean, just goes, and I don't even think you see a wound on that dead Ewok or anything. You don't need to. It's fucking brutal nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yep. So these people that just like sit around in their house like, oh, well, I need more violence because I'm so numb to reality because I jack off to hentai and fucking watch live leaks all day long.
He wants the Punisher in his fucking Star Wars show. Are you kidding me? Jesus. That's all. That's cinematically unhinged. You're unhinged,
True.
sir.
True.
You're unhinged.
All right. So I talked recently about Heather Antos, who was at the center of the Make Mine Milkshake controversy in 2017, which launched that. I don't even remember their name anymore. It was like a bunch of angry dudes that hated comic books, but they pretended like they cared about them for a few years, and then some people made a bunch of money off of it. I forget their name, but she was at the center of that. She was one of the editors at Marvel Comics, as well as a few other women who worked there, who went and got some milkshakes, and then they posted on social media about it. And dudes lost their fucking minds. Like, this is what's wrong with comics and stuff like that.
Marvel's doing. Getting milkshakes.
So so she and then recently she was named senior editor at IDW Comics, so she's moving on up. So while she was at Marvel, she was an editor on and I think somebody in chat can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Dr. Aphra was the Star Wars Marvel comic that so if you watch in Book of Boba Fett, there's a new Wookiee character that was introduced. Right.
Yep.
Big, fuzzy black and brown, like mean looking dude. And he's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome design. Yeah. Really, really intimidating, scary dude. Is cool character so far. I'm curious to see what ends up happening with him. I was thinking that it was going to be like Boba Fett would have to fight him in the finale or something. So I was pretty surprised when he just ripped him out of his back the tank in the recent episode. I was like, hell yeah. And he's like fighting naked Boba Fett. But yeah. So she worked on the comic book as an editor back, a few years ago that introduced that character for the first time. So he's not new. He's only new to live action. But he was introduced. So she tweeted how excited she was to see him in live action.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Because, I mean, imagine that. You're like an editor on a comic and you get to introduce a character. And then a few years later, there he is. He's the talk of the town of Disney Plus and the new Boba Fett show. Now, then imagine that you're some dipshit dude on Twitter.
Oh, no, he
just
can't.
try to put yourself in.
She feels good about herself. I can't handle it.
The Wookiee's name is Krrsantan, by the way.
Yeah.
She knows the name of the fucking Wookiee, dude. Like, it's like, this is just mansplaining at its finest, right? Yeah. Like, as my friend Robo Strange, co-host of the Beta Boys podcast and one of the hosts. I mean, it is, but also delete this.
It's not too late to delete this.
Yeah, and it's just fucking like the obliviousness that goes into something like this.
That's
like,
hilarious.
I see a woman posting about Star Wars. I'm gonna tell her something that she doesn't know.
This. I'm gonna post this, and she's gonna fall in love with me. I'm gonna teach her all the names.
She's gonna be so appreciative that I gave her this information because she's just a dumb girl. She doesn't know the name of the Wookiee.
She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. Show her all the names.